Buenos dias. Get in dress code, top button, well, top button if you are in regular dress code. Many to most of you are in dress down, so you're probably good. Let's see, is this thing not coming up? There we go. That works. All right. Vamos a decir Thursday. Dios te salve María. ¿Hay intenciones especiales? No? All right. Let's pray for everybody. Just stay safe. Oh, did somebody have their hand raised? I'm sorry.
Mom, brother.
En el nombre del Padre, y del Hijo, y del Espíritu Santo. Amén. Dios te salve María, llena eres de gracia. El Señor es contigo, bendita tú eres entre todas las mujeres, y bendito es el fruto de tu vientre Jesús. Santa María, Madre de Dios, ruega por nosotros pecadores, ahora y en la hora de nuestra muerte. Amén. En el nombre del Padre, y del Hijo, y del Espíritu Santo. Amén. All right, so attendance. Okay, your homework, 46 and 47, next 2 pages in the workbook. This one deals with vocab, which hopefully we'll get to today, and do some review listening wise. However, you did the vocab, so you already have enough information to really be able to do that, but we'll try to do some more today. 47 is new material that we're going to go over right now. Let's see, attendance. Oops. Get out of that. Let's see.
What's 11 on the electronic activity?
That's the number. What do you mean?
No, like what's it on?
Oh, what is that on? It's on the Ake Aura.
Oh,
It's you talking about at what time certain classes are and stuff. Okay, so Jenna and Corsica are out. Everybody else that's supposed to be here is here.
not here.
Who's that?
Liam.
Oh, thank you. And then clicker. Reload this. All right. So, first thing we need to do is make sure that you have the information you need to do tonight's homework. So, saquen sus apuntes, por favor. Take out your notes. Saquen sus apuntes. Oh, shoot. Let's do this. All right. so we are going to learn the conjugations of the verb estar today. You may wonder, well, didn't we just learn all the conjugations of AR verbs? Why are we talking about estar separately? Because estar is not a regular AR verb. It's going to be irregular. And so you do have to study this one separately from it. All right, would somebody please read this first bullet so it's not me talking all the time? See, Andre, go.
You have already learned how to conjugate regular AR words as well as the verb SDR. Notice that the AR verbs you have seen all indicate the subject, what the subject is doing. They are action verbs.
Okay, good. So all of the AR verbs you've done have been action verbs. La clase termina, the class ends. Tu estudias español, you study Spanish. Okay? Can you pick up from there, please, Pablo? Right there?
You always told me that.
Yeah.
Okay. The verb ser does not indicate an action, but rather a state of being. It gives information about the subject.
Good. So this is getting a little bit into your English skills. In English, you hopefully know the difference between an action verb and a linking verb or helping verb. Okay? So these have been action verbs. When you talk about ser, it's going to be state of being, a conjugation of the verb to be. It gives information about the subject, like él es mi amigo, or ellos son de Honduras. He is my friend, they are from Honduras. There's no action there, it's just expressing a state of being, okay? Now you will learn another AR verb that indicates a state of being, estar. And so, that is what we're going to do today, okay? So, they had that quick review, repaso rápido, is the way they talk, repaso rápido. They're giving you a quick review of ser, because the first thing you're going to think of, probably, when we talk about this is ser, because estar means to be. And then your first reaction might be, well, wait a minute, didn't we learn ser was to be? Yes, you did, but they're going to be used in different situations, okay? They're both going to be state of being verbs, but this one's going to be used for different situations. It is an AR infinitive, but it is irregular in the present tense. You've already seen several forms of this verb. Throughout the, like the vocab that we've done, you've seen this used a little bit. Well, actually, even just at the very beginning, we say, how are you? How do you say, how are you? Como estás is what you learned. Como estás. And then we also, when we were talking about the difference between tu and usted, we said como está usted, right? So those were conjugations of estar that we were already using. You should be writing these in your notes. The T graph here is what you're seeing. You have the T graph here that you can put into your notes, where you have the yo form, repiten estoy. Okay, if someone said, ¿Cómo estás? You already knew that you would say, estoy bien. Now you know why you're saying that. You're saying, I am well. Okay? Repiten, estás.
Estás.
Like I said, this is probably the first one that you saw with ¿Cómo estás? Estás is going to be you are. So when you say ¿Cómo estás? You're saying, how are you? Okay? Repiten, está.
Stop.
Está is going to be you formal, he or she is. And then these are the ones that I don't know that you have seen. Well, you probably saw this one a little bit, but you probably haven't seen the others. Repiten, estamos.
Estamos.
Estamos is going to be the nosotros form. We learned for ser it was somos, and for AR verbs, it was amos, so this follows just like a regular AR verb, right? At that ending. Repiten, estáis. Estáis is going to be vosotros. You all are informal, only used in Spain, but you need to recognize it. And then lastly, ustedes, ellos, or ellas, repiten, están. Están, okay? Now, we're saying this is an irregular verb, that it's not like the regular AR conjugations. However, if you look closer at it, what's different about it? What's different about estar from regular AR verbs? What do you notice? What would you have to remember with this one, in addition to the fact that it's irregular? You'd have to remember certain things were irregular. What's irregular about it compared to a regular AR verb? Not sure? Okay, what's irregular here is, first of all, the yo form goes to estoy, whereas a regular AR verb, we would just have the O there, right? For whatever reason, this goes to estoy. Okay, that's weird, but not too weird because you already learned that Sarah was soy, you know, so it looks a little bit like that one. Then estás, is that different than a regular AR verb? No, except the accent mark. Is está different than a regular AR verb?
Yeah,
Well, no, except the accent mark. Estamos, is that different than a regular AR verb? No, not at all. Is estáis different than a regular AR verb? No, not at all, because it has the accent on, and even in the regular verbs. Están, is that different than a regular verb? No, except the accent mark. So, I'm saying that you're learning a whole new verb and it's a different thing, but really, it's a variation on what you hopefully already know. AR conjugations, o, as, a, amos, ais, an. O, as, a, amos, ais, an. I told you guys to drill that into your brain. If you have that in your brain, all right, this is irregular because it goes to estoy, and then you got to remember some accent marks, but otherwise, it's the same thing as the AR verbs that you've already learned. Does that make sense? Okay? So it's a new irregular verb, but the conjugations of it really shouldn't be any big deal. All right. The star indicates location or state of being at a given moment. Okay? What's the way it's typically described? I don't know, maybe they'll describe it this way later on, but how it's typically described is that a star is used for temporary things, and ser is used for permanent things. You use ser when you're talking about like where you're from. That's never going to change. Your occupation is considered permanent. I guess it could change, but it's considered permanent. When you're talking about things that are temporary, like someone's location at the moment, or their state of being, their condition at the time, you use a star. So when someone asks, how are you? When you respond to it, you're talking about how you are right now, right? So since you are talking about that, that's why you would use a star, because it's used for more temporary situations. So, examples. ¿Dónde está el profesor? You use está because you're talking about the teacher. What pronoun would you put in for teacher if you took him out of a sentence in English?
He.
He. Excellent. He form of estar? Está. Get it? So when you want to say, where is the teacher, you use está. Then the response would be, he is in class. Está en clase. By the way, this is a good example of what we talked about before. Shouldn't it say, él está en clase? Like you're saying Carlos, right?
Yeah,
Carlos, you're saying no. Why shouldn't it?
because it's already implied by.
Good, good. So if you were shaky on when we talked about this before, hopefully it makes more sense. You could put él está en clase and it'd be a little clearer, but you already know that you're talking about the teacher based on the previous question, so you don't necessarily need to use it. Make sense? All right? Then this state of being or condition, when someone says, ¿Cómo estás? They're asking, how are you like right now? You use estás because you're talking to you, too. and then the person would respond, estoy bien, I am well, gracias, gracias, thank you. Get it? Not a big deal, right? Okay? It will be a little bigger deal when you talk about when do you use ser and when do you use a star, but they're not even getting into that right now. Right now, all they're asking you is, do you know these conjugations? Show me you know these conjugations, okay? States of being. Other states of being at a given moment are cansado, tired, contento, happy, triste, sad, and solo, alone. Okay, so these are just, you guys know how you say estoy bien or estoy mal. You can also say estoy cansado, I'm tired, estoy contento, I'm happy, so forth. Okay? Let me make sure there's nothing on the next page here. I think it goes into other stuff. Yep, that's pretty much it. Let's see. That's not good. Let's see if there's an exercise we can do here. Let's do this one. Okay, here you're, is this a listening? No, okay. Here you have, they're asking, ¿Dónde está Nacho? So then the response would be, Nacho está en Chicago. Nacho is in Chicago. You're talking about his location. So you use the form of a star, okay? Let's see, número uno, Marta y Luz. Felipe, Marta y Luz. If I said, ¿Dónde están Marta y Luz? What would your response be?
Marta y Luz, están Denver.
Están en Denver, but good. Get it? He took Marta y Luz. What pronoun would you substitute? They, or ellas. Ellas form of a star. Están. Good. Pretty much like a regular AR verb, with the AN ending on. Número dos, Jorge. What if it's Jorge Santiago? You're going to say Jorge is in Los Angeles. How would you say that?
Jorge está en Los Angeles.
Excellent. Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Because it's he. He form of an AR verb. A ending, and with this, está with the accent mark. Está in Los Angeles. There's some, what's down here? Let's skip her. Let's go over here. Número cuatro. If it's Nico y Sebastian, that is going to, how would you say they are in Atlanta? How would you say that, Manuel?
Nico y Sebastián están en Atlanta.
Okay, spell the verb that you said.
Están, E-S-T-A-N.
Excellent. With accent over the A. Don't forget the accent, okay? Están in Atlanta or whatever. You guys get this?
Yeah.
These examples aren't great. I don't feel like we need to do those. I did the ones that are a little bit different that might have been tricky. It's really just like another AR verb. You just got to remember some particular things about it. The particulars, this goes to heads the Y instead of just the O. Then you got accent marks over these three forms. And then these two are exactly the same. Okay? How many of you have learned stem changing verbs? Okay, a couple of you? Yeah, that's later on in Spanish. So, did you guys go to public school?
No, that's the same.
Regis. And Regis got into stem changing verbs?
Yeah.
That's a little surprising. Usually, the reason I said it that way, I think I've told you guys this before. In Catholic schools, typically they'll do a more limited program because they're teaching to, 8 grades a lot of times. And then in middle school, they teach it more like a high school program. And so a lot of times you'll get into some of that. So those who had stem changers, you know the boot verb. Have you heard boot verb before?
Yeah.
You remember that? So this is kind of a boot verb, if that'll help you. Later on, you guys will all learn this. We'll get into it later on. But if you already know it, you see how this kind of is a boot verb, how it has those changes there and not out here. Just something that can make it a little easier to remember. Well, hell, I guess I can bring it up with all of you. It's not a big concept. I might as well talk about it now. We will be talking about stem changing verbs later on. And when we talk about stem changing verbs, an easy way for people to remember them is to think of them as boot verbs. And what that means is that if you drew a line around all the verbs that have some kind of change that make them irregular, it forms like a boot. Now the reason this one's not considered a boot verb exactly is because when we talk about stem changers, they change in a similar way, all of them. This doesn't change, it's irregular, so it changes different than anything else. However, it could help you to at least remember which ones you gotta think about as being a little different by thinking of a boot around it. Then you know, okay, the ones I gotta remember are the yo form, to form, LA usted, and eos as usted. I don't even have to think about these because these are exactly the same as the regular AO verbs. You get that? All right, that's probably a good thing for me to have done because then when we talk about it later, it'll make even more sense to you. All right. So, that's the main thing I needed to get through. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check in your homework. Hopefully that'll go quickly, but since it might not, I am going to have you start on your electronic activity. You can get out your iPad, start on your electronic activity. When I check in your homework, after I've checked in your workbook homework, then if you wanted to, you could start on tonight's homework also. But until I check in your regular work, don't have the workbook out. Makes sense? Same thing I always talk about with you guys. What? I don't know. Wherever I left off the last time. I think it was 41. You can maybe tell once you look in there. So let's see. The last check I did was 41, yeah. So it's going to be, I'm checking in 42 to 45. Checking in 42 to 45. And as I said, you should be working on the electronic activity right now.
There isn't any electronic activity here.
Oh, that would be a problem. You know what? I figured out which one I wanted to do, and I think I forgot to assign it to you. Hold on.
Mr. Case?
Yep.
Do you have a charger I could use? I thought I plugged in my iPad, but like the thing was all the way in the outlet.
Idiot.
Yeah, I know.
Let me figure it back here. You probably want to go put it behind Michael or sit behind Michael. It looks like an outlet back there, but that's not an outlet.
Put it under speed.
Now you see the way that I assign them. That's why it was so weird that one time. I think they just had a glitch on their site or something that day where those two activities didn't assign to you. Otherwise, it's usually goes pretty well. All right. So they should be showing up in a minute if they're not there right away. All right, as I call off your name, your last name, remember to keep your workbook away. The smart thing would have been to throw a pencil or pen in that page if you went to it. But I'll call you up, check those in, and then you can work on the workbook if you wanted to. Ahmad through Bordonia, please.
Mr. Case, I forgot my work at home.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a 0 for you. Bring it tomorrow and I'll give you half credit, okay? I don't even know who I called an idiot. Who was that? Ahmad? Was that you? let's see. Oh, yeah, you have these because we went over.
We
the
went over
class,
for it.
yeah.
I forgot to put it in there, so I just put it over.
You finished.
You,
I didn't know that one, so.
okay, no, you forgot to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everything is supposed to agree there. Okay, well,
so the O would change to an
yeah.
A.
Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 activities. I'll give you full credit, but pay closer attention to directions.
Yep.
Okay. An S. I think that's supposed to be an S. Make it clear. And then these should not be wrong. We went over this in class. Were you here?
Nothing. That was the day that not here. Remember I said that I was late to school.
Okay, but I told you to watch the video, right?
Yeah, no, I just like I didn't watch the video. I did.
Okay. Let's see. Okay, you gotta make sure you pay attention when we go over this stuff, because you're not doing it right, and this is supposed to agree with these. And these adjectives have to agree with their noun. We did it all, but I'm gonna take a point off, okay? Make sure you pay closer attention to the directions. Okay, there's shoes, so that should have been plural. And then, you make all those agree also.
I tried to capitalize
It's very hard. All right, I'll give full credit, 6. Let's see, Cade through Collins? Yeah,
If we don't have a certain class, it's no Tango, right?
yeah, there you go. Mhm. Gotta make the adjective agree with the noun also. It wasn't just the one part. All right, otherwise good, 6. Drillback, I think it was just Drillback. So let's go Drillback through Roberson. He may not be here, but I'm just saying, that's what I'm calling up. Okay, this should be correct. We went over this in class. You were here when we did this, right?
Yeah, I wrote it down in the folder, and we on the study.
All right, in the future, that's what I always say, have the red pen. I put the red pen in here so that you change it. You may have thought that I would not want you doing that, but, I do. Okay. Why, when they said this, did you put this, do you know? You know what I mean? You made these agree, most people aren't doing that, so you did that part good. And then you did these parts good too. I don't know what you did there. You know what I'm saying? See how the subject's supposed to, yeah. All right, I'll give you full credit, but in the future, make those changes there, okay? Good. So whatever I said, roll back through you guys. Especially Fast Times at Ridgemont High. You ever see the movie Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
No.
You shouldn't, it's rated R, but the main character wears shoes just like that, Spicoli.
Oh.
Have you heard that name before?
Yeah.
Yeah, Spicoli is what made those shoes, popular. Okay, here, you didn't find here, but there was the end of the activity too. I think it says it up here, right? Yeah. you were supposed to make this agree with this, you know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? So read all the directions, don't just read part of it. Okay, one off, read directions on the carefully, okay? Five.
Starts at 42.
I don't know. Yeah, this is the one. Okay, come here. You switched it around.
Oh,
Well, you could look them up.
yeah, no, I know what it is.
Right, but even if you didn't know it at the time, you gotta look it up, okay? And you get sloppy there, that spelling is terrible. You're also supposed to make this agree with this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, why not? You know, take a point off, be a little more careful, and
Alright.
don't get lazy like that,
Yeah, alright.
okay? Who was that? That was Michael. Roberson's not here, so then the end deal, Rollins through, Taransky, or whoever's here of that, Rollins through Taransky. Oh, I forgot to put on the soft music, sorry, we're almost done now. What's going on? Rollins through Taransky, move it. I want you to learn some more.
Wait, what page was we on?
42, I think it is? 42, yeah.
Why does that have the camera on?
Oh, God, I was wondering what the hell you were doing. It looked like you were taking a selfie. I'm like, did he actually just take a phone out and do a selfie? Because he went. They're probably 40 through all this anyway. There. Don't be lazy. You can find that out pretty easy. Necesita, un regla.
You already did. I realized what the water is.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's actually an essential part of it, also having you make sure that you know how to have the adjectives agree, you know what I mean?
He's got books. What's in the books, he's got everything. And it's color coded too.
Okay. Little lazy, okay? I'm gonna knock off a point, be more careful about your work. Five. I know you can do it, so just lazy there. Thanks for having page open so that I can move quickly. I'm doing important stuff like posing for the camera. Oh, but you did the work right. That's unusual here. This isn't right. Three directions. You're supposed to be saying at a certain time. But you're saying it is 9 in the morning, like someone's asking you the time.
Okay.
You wanna say it's at. Make sense?
Yeah.
Otherwise, good though, and I was letting people go by and you did this right, so I'll give it full credit. 6. Whoa. Okay, you at least tried to make these agree, but you're mixing things up. You're conjugating an adjective, you only conjugate verbs. Okay, this is from the last chapter. If it's, okay, yeah, you kinda screwed this up. See, it's unos, zapatos, so what's this gonna be? Unos, zapatos, nuevos. You know what I mean? You remember this?
Yeah.
This is just last chapter, so they're trying to have you, go back over that, so you don't mix it up, and that's what you're doing, is you're mixing it up, and so they're trying to get you to, realize that they're two different things. Good here, excellent. All right, I'll give you full credit, but be careful about that. You might want, what you really should do is redo that activity too,
Yeah.
so that then you're like, getting your brain to understand. And it's in the directions though, you know what I mean? It's not even that, oh, I didn't notice that. If you read the directions, there's no way to screw it up. Always answer incomplete sentences if you don't say. All right,
I know what I can do.
I'll give you full credit because you did a good job on the rest of it, but read directions. All right, so, done with that, good. Now, the last thing that we should be doing is making sure that you understand the vocabulary better. So please, put away your workbooks. Put away your workbooks. Now we're just gonna do some listening work. Going over the vocab. Reminding you of the stuff that you did. You did all this in your vocab, but this is some more like realistic usage of them, and it'll also remind you of these words that you did. Okay, please have the books away. I don't want you working on your homework now. You shouldn't have the iPads out either. You can look up here. Here we go.
Vocabulario 2. El teléfono.
¿Cuál es tu número de teléfono?
Es el 7 25 67 47.
Perdón, ¿es el 6 14 74 36? Perdón, ¿es el 6
Tienes
14
el número
74
equivocado.
36?
Es el 6 14 74 63.
Shut up, Mike. All right, so let's redo this one. I screwed up because I accidentally clicked it.
Tienes el número equivocado. Es el 6 14 74 63.
¿Aló? Ernesto, soy yo, Rosa.
¿Cómo?
¿Dónde está mi teléfono? Mira, allí está.
Looks pretty stupid, but she's cute, so she gets away with it. All right, well, before we do this, I don't know if it would have kept going, but... ¿Cuál es tu número de teléfono? Levanten sus manos. ¿Qué es en inglés? Sí, or Doña Mario. There you go. Sí, Mario.
What is your phone number?
What is your phone number? Good. The qual is usually going to be like which, but in our translation of this, it's more like what is your telephone number? And then he says SL and then gives the number. Notice that in Spanish, instead of like, we would say 725-6747, they will many times put it into the bunches of the tens. 7, 25, 67, 47. Okay? Perdón, es el 6, 14, 74 y 36. Let's see, let's go Juan. What is she asking?
Excuse me. Wait, perdón means excuse me, right?
Yeah.
And then, my number is like 6147436.
Not, okay, so this is the part that's probably, you guys don't understand as much, although she's got a cell phone, so. No, she's saying, is this number? Is this number? Like, she's making sure she's got the right number, like she called the right number. It would be like if you called somebody and you're expecting a guy and you hear some girl, old woman answer, and you're like, wait a minute, is this the right number? Okay? And then he says, tienes el número equivocado, es el 6, 14, 74 y 63. That she has mixed up the final two numbers there. Okay? What time are we at? 36, we're going to be ending here. And let's just finish these off. She says, "Aló, Ernesto, soy yo, Rosa." What is this one going to be? Sí, Raul.
Hello, is this Ernesto? I am Rosa.
She says, "I am I," but we don't say it that way. We would say, "It's me, Rosa." Get it? And then he says, "Como," which is like how, but what he's doing is he's shortening up, "Como te llamas?" What is your name? So he's just saying, "Como," okay? And then she says, "¿Dónde está mi teléfono?" What is that going to be? Sí, Santiago.
Where is my phone?
Where is my phone? And then someone's yelling from off camera, "Mira, ahí está. Mira, ahí está." Anybody remember from your vocab what that is? See.
It is in here.
Okay, pretty good guess by context. It's look, mira, look. Here it is, ahí está. Look, here it is. All right, let me get the lights to you. We got through the first part at least. We still got to do this stuff. Maybe we'll pick up on that tomorrow. That first stuff's probably the tougher things to remember, because this other stuff is pretty much just reminding you of the word. Yeah. Oh, how did you know that if you haven't seen it?
My dad references it a lot.
Does he?
Yeah.
What? Mr. Hearn, I've been thinking, if it's your time and my time, isn't it war time? Very funny movie, but not really appropriate. Watch it in a couple of years.